Hi, everyone. So, welcome to Drumfills Kafé. My name is Eric Boudreau. I'm very happy to be with you tonight. We have that second show, that world edition with different artists all around the world. So, first of all, just before to start with that show, I would like to mention the artists coming next week. No, in 2 weeks, sorry, is May 6th. You will have Chris Lesso, Jorge Chavez, Murray Creed, and Rick Latham. May 20th is going to be Maxime Diomin, Richard Irwin, Alex Lays, and Daru Jones. Please subscribe. You can subscribe to the Instagram, the Facebook, and the YouTube channel, this one. If you can see, there's like a chat on the right side. You can chat with the artists if they're there after the interview. You can ask questions. You can also ask questions during the interview, but sometimes we won't have time to answer it. But be free to ask questions. Tomorrow there's a French show because I started that channel in French from the community of Montreal. And tomorrow the artists are Sacha Daoud, Alan Réaume, and Francis Fillon. So if you are interested, or if you understand the language, you can come, and you're more than welcome to watch the show tomorrow. Just to a reminder, if you didn't know, Drum Channel offer 30 days access free to their channel. So you're more than welcome to go on their channel and watch like a school, like teaching with the best drummer, live video performances, bands. So you're more than welcome to go there. But I don't know how long that will stay. So just check it out. So basically, it's the second show for the world edition. So just for you understand the purpose of Drumfills Kafé, it's I wanted to during this hard situation, everybody are stuck in their house, and I wanted to give a platform for many different drummers to talk, but not just drummers. It can be people they like drums, drum lover, like all sphere of like all part of the drumming industry. So that's why like here it's live. I decided to do live for a reason. You will have to listen us until the end. But of course, if you want to rewatch it, you're not there tonight, and you wanted to watch one of the artists, all the videos are still now available on YouTube. So go on the channel of Drumfills Kafé and you can find them. So okay, so let's go with the first artist. The first artist started to play drums at the age of 14 years old. He's from the city of Victoria in Mexico. He's a member, like a permanent member of the PASIC. He's a Roland V drum specialist. He's a clinician, educator. He do a lot of teaching, like online and in person. He's a session drummer. He studied at Berklee College online. He's been nominated 2 times at the Grammys. He played with many different artists in Mexico. He played in different drum festivals in Mexico City or in Mexico all around. He's endorsed by Remo, Vader, Roland, and Zildjian. So please welcome my friend Raul Vargas.
Hey, Eric.
Hello, Raul.
¿Cómo estás?
Muy bien, ¿y tú?
Bien. It's good like here.
Yeah, it's warm. You said it was like 40 degrees, like Celsius. So 40 degrees, right?
Yeah, it's pretty hot right now. Yeah.
Well,
yeah,
but you have a drums, even if that's the reason why it's warm, is because it's hot because you have a drum.
Yeah, I was practicing maybe like 1 hour or 2 hours. I don't remember, but yeah, I'm practicing a lot, and like groups or something like that. Crazy stuff, I don't think so, but groups all the time.
Well, are you the kind of person to learn a lot of songs, for example, let's say like top 40 songs, like for 2 hour shows or stuff like that, or you will just pick a few different songs and work on them?
No, I'm practicing my favorite songs. I'm not learning different songs or something like that, but it's I don't I don't learn my songs from memory.
Okay.
I write.
You write all the songs?
Yeah, my music charts, and I am reading. I'm good reading.
That's good. Actually, that was one of my questions. I know you did the online Berkeley degree, but before that, when you started the drums, like when you were 14 years old, how did you do that? Did you start it with a private drum teacher, or you went to school?
Private.
Okay.
Yeah, the first one.
Okay.
After that, I study at some music institutes in my city or in my town. It's
Uh-huh.
a small town. So I learned maybe like the rudiments or the basic stuff. After that, I'll be studying with another private teachers.
Uh-huh.
But
Privado to private. No? Uh-huh.
yeah, and I attend to many drum camps or something like that in other cities or
Okay.
master classes with Don Formularo and other great drummers and teachers.
Yeah, you did the what is the name of the drum fest in Los Cabos again? You did some over there. Los Cabos. What was the drum fest in the north of Mexico?
Oh, Laguna Drum Fest.
Laguna Drum Fest. Laguna Drum
Yeah,
Fest.
yeah.
Yeah, that was
It's
a
a good.
great one. It's a great one,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. It's very it's great, and the owner or the yeah or the owner, it's
Uh-huh.
good people, and it's one of my good friends.
Oh, that's pretty good. That's a good.
Uh,
This is a good opportunity to play. But well, in Mexico City, you have a few things like clinics going on. But in Mexico, complete. How many drum fests or like you think there is like a real drum fest?
Maybe like two drum fests, the
Okay.
Laguna Drum Fest, and I don't know, maybe one in Mexico City. Maybe I don't remember. Uh, no. It's very hard to find international drum festivals.
Yeah, and just tell us about how you started to play drum because I remember you told me at 14. I know you told me you were like watching la banda or the people playing, but when you decided to take that drum like and put it in a drums, not just a bass drum or a snare, when you decided that will be that and not a like a football big band or something like that. You know what I mean?
Well, I'm very bad in other stuff.
Okay.
So the music, it's my I was very simple
Okay.
because my parents are musicians, but they aren't working on the business. They
Okay.
work like on the computers
Uh-huh.
and something like that. But the music is it's very simple for me because I've been watching movies or hearing a lot of music in my house. So
Mhm.
this was very easy decision.
Okay, and but you said your parents they were not in the business, but they never do they play an instrument like differently than the drums?
Yeah, they are playing guitar,
Ah, okay, okay.
bass guitar, the piano, and at the church only.
Ah, the church. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But did you learn? Did you perform there too at the church at the beginning or not at all?
Yes. I played a lot of years at the church,
Okay,
different church. Uh-huh.
okay, yeah,
This,
because it's good opportunities usually.
yeah, this was my first gigs,
Yep.
and I learned a lot of playing with another musicians at the church.
Okay, and the and one more question about that. I mean, like when you were at the church, did you had to rehearse practicing a lot, or it was most likely like you arrive and you play? What was the approach over there?
Okay, I was studying a lot my stuff, of course, and learning the songs and play for the music, of course.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Not overplaying.
No, but no, not on the yeah. I cannot
Yeah.
because it depends. Some gospel guy they are really overplaying, but I mean at the same time you had to to
Keeping
go
focus.
tasteful, focus, the rhythm, and all. Yeah, and
Yeah.
continuing like that, I had a question for you because you're a member of PASIC,
Uh-huh.
and I would like you talk a bit about the PASIC. I want you to tell us what you do there and why it's pretty good, like for like anybody, or if even for people starting in the career or career as a musician, to be member of PASIC, because I know they have a lot of advantages. There's big contests. So can you just tell us about that a bit more?
Well, BASIC it's the most important organization from percussion,
Mm-hmm.
of course. But I am at the international committee.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So my work is it's to look many electronic press kits
Uh-huh.
from many ensembles of artists just to play at the basic.
Okay.
We all the international committee chose the artist or the ensemble,
Uh-huh.
and we propose to the basic and to be playing at the basic.
Yeah. So how the student or the people can apply? They need to they need to subscribe. They need to pay a membership, and they need to send their press kit or whatever bio to you, or they can do it for free without being a member.
Yeah, whatever can send the electronic press kit,
Okay.
and but you need to be able to travel without money. You need to ask for money for another companies, or I don't remember
For support.
their requirements.
Mm-hmm.
But I told you
Yep.
about that. I'm not sure,
Yeah, but
but
well, this is important because, for example, if you are international like judge and I guess one artist have been chosen is like, let's say in Belgium, and you need to fly, so that artist need to cover his own flight ticket, his hotel, his food for, let's say, like 4 or 5 days. So the person need to be autonomous. Like
yeah,
there's no sponsorship from the association.
yeah. For example, Siljan told me about they can give give to you, give to me, maybe like 10,000 pesitos,
Mm-hmm.
10,000 pesos for just to play at the basic. Maybe you can use this money for the traveling or no, I don't know.
But it's an
And
example because it's not everybody they are sponsored by a
yeah,
company.
you need to find another sponsors like, well, I mean with Vader I
Mm-hmm.
can ask to other sponsors for money to play at the basic, and the brands it's always interested to artists to be playing at the basic.
Yeah, to
It's not
support because it's a good platform. It's a good opportunity for musician or ensemble
yeah,
for performing in one good place, a good theater, good condition, and good crowd. Because the people, they are members, they are percussion, drummer, or even other
yeah,
musician. But I mean, they know what they were gonna go to see. It's not like you're going to a festival of rock and there's like 25 different bands. Now you know what I mean. Now you're going to see a percussion drum show, so you know a bit what you're gonna go for. So that's
yeah,
pretty
exactly.
good. And so now I know all is weird because of the coronavirus, but maybe we don't know. Maybe it's still late because it's in April. But I mean, do you think that can be postponed, can be moved, or do you think they can keep that time?
I don't know. I don't know.
You don't know yet. Huh?
I don't have this information.
So do you think that the
This,
people want to apply still they can still send their packages like with the bio and all, even if they don't know?
well, it's a deadline just to apply. The deadline was a few months ago,
Ah, okay.
and I don't have any information about that.
Well,
Yeah,
just asking because so can you give the website where the people can get their information?
yeah, it's PIS dot org.
Okay, that's pretty easy to find out. Anyway, you can
Yeah,
Google it, PASIC, PASIC. Okay, Times flies pretty fast. We mentioned you did your online lessons in Berkeley College. If the people want to do you, is it something you recommend? Because I know it's a very good school, big name. Can you talk about that a little bit for give options for the drummers?
Well, taking I've been working for Berkeley maybe like for 3 years, no, 2 years, like a mentor or advisor.
Advisor.
So Berkeley take the students, and if the student wants maybe like a mentor, they send to me, and I can share some tips or advices, music experiences, and something like that.
So you coach them. You coach them to
Yeah,
support them in the path, the way for from a point A to a point B. So it's pretty.
yeah. Maybe not all the students, but maybe like my work.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a clinician or educator, so they take the clinicians' profiles,
Mm-hmm.
and they send to me.
Okay, okay, okay.
Yeah,
And how long did you study there? Like a year or 2 years? How long was the course?
1 year, 1 year.
It was 1 year. 1 year
Yeah,
full
and
time or part time?
all the time, 1 year.
Okay.
So um, all the Berkeley students, they have a platform,
Uh-huh.
so they can write emails or video chat. So this is great because for today, for coronavirus,
Yeah, well,
it's a very good option.
I think all the school, if they have online connection or they have like online platform to be like right now with that, it's very successful for them because they can advertise and they can still continue teaching without
Yeah,
being stuck with a like a local. Like I mean, they can still like teach right now, person to person, or even pre-recorded classes or group classes. There's so many options right now with the internet.
yeah, just like the universities, the CAM and
Can
the GMartel,
uh-huh.
they are teaching via online.
Yeah, this is great. They have to do that because anyway, a lot of drummer are teaching online. You are teaching online. Can you
Yeah.
can you tell us a bit about how your class worked when you are online?
Well, it's many. It's different things or different ways.
Mm-hmm.
So when I'm teaching online via my website,
Mm-hmm.
it's a live stream.
Okay.
Just the members can watch the video. So this is a paid membership.
Okay.
It's very cheap. I'm teaching my stuff. So if the students have a question, I can answer. I can ¿Cómo se dice responder?
You will respond to them. To will you will answer to their question. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, yeah.
So
So this is for my website. So one-to-one online, I sent the PDF days before or hours before, so they can read the
great.
PDF, study the PDF, and after that, at the lesson, we are talking about the all the process, all the topics, and I am just watching them playing
Okay.
because I don't play so much. I watch my students play, so
Okay.
I can talk about, well, you need to focus on dynamics or the groups or take care with the metronome, something like that.
Yeah, because it's also very difficult to get a good sound. Depend of what kind of system you have. Some people have a studio. Some people have like only their telephone. So how you can manage that, even if the sound is like not that great.
Yeah, the connection
Connection.
it's very bad sometimes.
Well, that's part. Actually, could I was. It's a good point you say that. I can say that right now because we have sometime bad connection on that channel. So if I see like a signal, I will tell you because right now, for example, it just says like a minute ago the connection can be bad. So if we lose the connection, you will just log out and log in. Okay, it's possible because
Okay,
there's so
perfect.
many people connect right now. We cannot. They cannot. Say like, okay, you have 100% connection, so just to be sure. Sorry,
Okay.
it's just because the message just passed. Well, time fly crazy. We have like 10 minutes. Okay, we talk about like you're doing masterclass in clinic over the year. What is the most challengeful like thing you can think like why? But first of all, you likes to do drum clinic and masterclass, and what are the target points when you do that?
Well, I liked so much teaching, not in English because my English it's not
No,
good.
no, it's very good. You do well.
So um, I like so much talking with the people, with other drummers about specific things or gear, what drumstick is better for this sound, or cymbal for jazz or for pop, or about groups. I don't know. So I like so much to be playing master classes and clinics. So what was
Well,
your question? The
because
second question?
the second question is like I wanted to see. I ask you if you like it to do that and why, and what are your target points. That's mean
Okay.
like I mean now, for example, you want to reach that audience. I will play some groove and I want to demonstrate some groove. So from there, how you start. For example, I will make it simple. For example, we did drum clinics together. So if you will have one tomorrow, how you prepare that, and what you have in mind, and what kind of approach you will use for show that to the audience.
Okay, it depends of the place. If the clinic or masterclass will be at a music store,
Uh-huh.
I'll be talking about gear, about endorsements. Maybe I don't talk about endorsements so much. But if I am at the university or music school, contemporary,
Mm-hmm.
I talk about the group, playing with another musicians, learning songs, writing charts or studio sessions. For example, if I am playing at the music conservatory,
Mm-hmm.
like
But
the months ago,
yeah, like we did.
uh, I'm talking about maybe about music career or music advices. I played a little bit timpani and the vibraphone, so I can talk a little bit about this.
Okay. So in this case, for example, if you will do, let's say, 3-4 songs, are you gonna rehearse all those songs during the week before, or you show up and boom, you will play the song like on the spot?
Well, always I think about that. Um, if I am playing at the contemporary music school, I
Mm-hmm.
played like hip hop or pop or fusion music. But if I need to play at the music conservatory, I am not playing hip hop, for example.
That metal song, yeah.
Yeah, no, no. This is the wrong place.
Well, but it's pretty. It's good to know what kind of audience you will have to deal with and what kind of message you will bring to this person, because they don't necessarily want to know the exact same thing. So
Yes.
and for example, when you do, like you say, college, they're like really what is going on right now, the music of right now. And if you go to classical music, it says by this name is classical, so it's more relaxed, more contemporary, but still very good. But it will be more an a percussion approach. There's not much drums, and if there's drum, it's more like a drum set for conservatory songs, and is less use, I guess. Though. I did the
Yeah.
few what my past, but in conservatory, but it's like one song on 200 have a drum set on it,
Okay. Yeah.
kind of. Um, so let's keep going. We talk about a lot of things. I know you're not a gear freak because you had a lot of stuff but you play very minimal, like right now, and it's good because at the same time, you like the set you have as like three cymbals when I had like
Yeah.
four piece.
This is
Uh,
my set.
Perfect. Uh, what you can recommend for drummer they want to start, because I know a lot of drummer. I talked about that like 2 weeks ago with one artist in the French Drumfills Kafé. Some drummer will dream to have, like, let's say I want to have that drum is like, I don't know, like $6,000, have like 10 cymbals, but how is your approach when you have students like that? Because it doesn't mean you have that amount of money for start, and I don't think you don't need the best kit. You can have a kit with good drum head, good cymbals, like a normal good tuning, and you can play. But what is your point about that? How you see that?
Well, um, I am practicing right now with my Tama Club Jam. This is an cheap drum kit.
Yeah, but it's good.
So yeah, so my cymbals are the Xinjiang Special Dry, the K Custom. So if any student have money or has money, they need to invest in the education,
For sure.
because if you have uh, the K custom or the pasty masters, but if you can't play like a group in very solid, you don't need the best gear. O sea,
Mhm.
yeah, the best gear it's for the professional, I think. So for starter,
Mhm.
um, you need to focus on getting better every day.
Yeah.
So the gear is it's the it's for think about this later.
Yeah, but at the same time, it depends. I think about the approaches of the because there's different people, different like doesn't it's not everybody they want to study. It's not
Yeah.
everybody they want to go to school in drums. So that was my question. For example, if that person won't only take one class per week or one class per 2 week with you, but he still want to have a good kit, what you will do, what you would recommend, like the minimum but good, or like in between, or how you deal with the student like that?
Okay. Maybe like in between, because you need to invest a lot of money, hundreds of dollars in a drum kit.
Yep.
Maybe you can split this money,
Yep.
so you can buy some good cymbals. I think the best investment
Yep.
for us, like drummers, it's in cymbals.
Yep.
So you can take maybe like not so expensive drum kit, but you can change the heads.
Uh-huh.
So I recommend all the time this change the heads. If you are playing a pop or rock, the coated is not an option. But you are a funky drummer or jazz drummer, just take the ambassador or coated. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think in the middle.
In the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there's a lot of people they sometimes, or they have a normal kit and they're like, it doesn't sound good because it's not a good set and all. And most of the time on my side, I'm always telling them, well, first tune your kit, change your head, and most of the time it's going with the player.
Yeah, this is right. The player is maybe it's like I don't know how to say, but I told you about that. It's the most important to invest in the education, because you have a cheap kit. You can play this kit with a sound very great,
Hmm.
but without invest some a lot of money.
Yeah, it's true. And for example, you're touring a lot right now. So when you go to different places, you bring only your cymbals, drumsticks, and pedals. That's it, for example.
Uh, it depends because if I am playing around the Mexico City, I only taking my drumstick bag,
Okay.
and this is all my drumstick bag. So the cymbals and the heads or the drum kit will be at the place,
Okay.
but depends.
Will be
If
the
I,
house kit.
yeah, if I am playing at the music hall or music club, I bring my cymbals
Hmm.
and pedal, snare, and my
The
sticks,
minimum.
of course.
The minimum you
Yeah,
need for having fun and make a good. I could look.
yeah.
The time was flying. It's already done. Before we go, Raul, can you tell us like what is going for you and where the people can reach you and what kind of service you offer, like for teaching right now, for the people can be in touch with you.
Well, I am teaching right now at the with my platform with my web page.
What's yeah.
So I am offering one-to-one lessons or group lessons via live stream at
Hmm.
my webpage. So educational content like educational articles
Yep.
like maybe like one time for every week.
Okay.
I'm teaching 3 times the for
Mhm.
week.
Perfect.
So this is all teaching, just teaching.
So
Maybe
the people can reach you on Instagram, Facebook.
yeah, Instagram, Facebook, like Raul Vargas, and I am the only one guy. Name it Raul Vargas, so people can find me easy.
Cool. Well, thank you for accepting the invitation, Raul, and I wish you good luck with the that's weird situation of lockdown. Keep
Yeah,
safe and and keep practicing drums.
thanks, my friend. See you soon.
Take care. Bye bye. Okay, so we had Raul Vargas, a good friend of mine, drummer from Mexico. So if you want to reach him, like he says, he's teaching with different platform and he speak English and Spanish, so you can always be in touch with him. So my next guest, I have a lot of things to say about him. I met him like 6, 7 years, 8 years ago at the Montreal Drum Fest. He started at the age of 5 years old. Um, he performed on platform like Drumeo, Drum Channel. He did drum like a lot of drum fest, like the Victoria Drum Fest, the Past Six, South by Southwest, Cape Breton International Drum Fest, Music China, Shanghai Music Mesa, Australia Ultimate Drum Weekend, the NAM Show, the Montreal Drum Fest, and more. He teach in person. He teach online. He's currently working at the BBC National Geographic for the show Love or Die. Yeah, he's doing TV commercial. He's doing a recording session. He's a teacher doing clinics, tours. He's endorsed the brands like Dream Cymbals, Remo Vader, DWPDP, Percussion, Prologic, Pads, LP. He has his own bands, SP3. He was working with different studios like Third Coast Recording Studios. So I would present you my friend Scott Pellegrom. How are you, my friend?
Great. How are you?
Pretty good, pretty good. Thanks for the accepting the invitation.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me. It's good to see you.
Pretty good. Where are you right now? Where do you live exactly?
I live in Grand Haven, Michigan. It's a small little beach town in West Michigan. We're right on Lake Michigan.
Like where there's no wind, it's never cold, and there's
Yeah, it's always cold. There's always wind, and it feels like, April in the middle of August. Like it snowed yesterday again, and a couple days ago it was almost 60 degrees. So
wow. But I like Michigan. I worked in Chicago. I've been in Detroit. I did all around, and I like this area. It's pretty nice. And summertime is warm too, like you said. Like it's like whew, it's completely different.
yeah, it's beautiful.
And do you have your own studio back home, or you have a studio outside of your house?
Right now, well, it's kind of both. My wife and I just moved into a new house in February, right after NAMM. Like we landed from the NAMM show, and in 2 days packed up everything and moved into a house. And she has an office upstairs because she does artist management and social media management, things
Cool.
like that. And then I have like my own little drum studio downstairs for personal use. It's where all my gear is, just where I practice, come up with ideas, and I'll do some online lessons from there. But the last 4, maybe even 5 years now, I've been a part of Third Coast Recording Company here in Grand Haven. And I've been kind of like the head session drummer there. I'm laying down drums, percussion, and getting a little bit of co-production. And as well as I like the in-house mad scientist when it comes to being a drum tech. So any drummer that comes through, if they want, they can hire me, and I'll be there, and I'll tune their drums, I'll set them up, I'll give them all my gear, and
Try out
that's my
stuff.
thing. Yeah. And then in the back offices, I have a drum studio there for where I give private lessons.
Okay, cool. That's pretty cool. The actually, you say that. When did you start to do recording, for example? Because I mean, not like, I mean, in your life, like as a professional, did you start like a few years ago, or is this something you started like a long time ago, for example?
Well, I remember my first recording session, which was not professional. I was 15, and we did my band, Wisdom. D-U-M-B, right? D-U-M-B. We did a battle of the bands, and when we went up to play, the sound blew out.
Well, okay.
So no one could hear us other than the drums, over the stage. So they awarded us some free studio time, and we went into this small studio, and it was scary, freaked out. It was like the most terrifying thing ever. It's the first time really hearing myself played back on the monitors, and I'd like cover my face, like, oh no, I sound like that. And then it kind of went down the road. Like a good friend of mine had moved to Nashville when I was still in high school, and he moved there to do studio work, and he got really, really busy, and he said, you should consider doing studio work sometime, maybe even move to Nashville. And fast forward, about when I was 21 is when I started to get some calls. I lived out in Portland, Oregon, and I started doing some jazz recordings and some small commercial stuff. And then it wasn't really until I was about 26 or 27, I moved to Nashville. I started to get into the studio scene and just be a fly on the wall. A lot of people would call me in to watch their sessions. And then after I did some tours, I moved back to Michigan, and I met this amazing gentleman named Bill Chrysler.
Okay.
And he's been a live sound engineer and live monitor engineer for everybody, like Neil Peart to Christina Aguilera, Rush, Dan Yankees. He did John Mayer for 11 years with John Mayer Trio.
That's a bad gig, yeah. You go like, I'm going the trio tonight.
Yeah. And so he's worked with everybody. And he called me in because he was recording a band that were some of my buddies, and they were having issues with their drum sounds. And I came in to his private studio, and I quick drum tech tuned the drums, got everything good. And he said, hey, thanks, that's great. Like, we've been battling these like issues for hours, and you came in and fixed them in like 20 minutes. And so he said, sit in on the session and just watch it. And as the session went on, they asked me some opinions about drum parts and the rhythm section parts. And I was a little hesitant because it wasn't my session, wasn't my gig. The drummer was a good buddy of mine, and he liked my input. So he invited me back for the next day and the next day and the next day. And then after I kind of built, the trust with him,
that's good.
On Christmas, he gave me a key to his personal studio, and he said, this is your playground. You need to be here and record and experiment. And fast forward another year or two, he bought a big building, and he started Third Coast Recording Company. And ever since, I just ended up being a studio drummer, and I didn't even mean to.
Well, that's a good. Actually, you say that, but how did you become a drummer? You saw a band live when you were 5, or you were playing on your pots and pans of your mom's, or like one day it was like eliminations, like I want to be that guy. Well, how it started, all that thing.
It's kind of all. It's a little bit of all of that. I feel like a lot of us are the same way. A lot of us are kind of born to want to be drummers. You know, we fidget, we twitch, and we tap on stuff. And I mean, long story short, when my mother was pregnant with me, she taught next to the music room. And when I was a little fetus in her belly, every time the choir or the band would start playing, I would like start kicking.
Yep.
And she joked and told everybody, like, I think my son's going to be a drummer or a soccer player. I'm not sure which one, but he really likes music. And her student teacher, who was a good friend, when I was born, gave me like my first article of clothing, like a onesie. Yep. It had a big snare drum on it.
Oh, that's cool. That's
so, I was kind of branded at birth. And then like by the time I was able to sit up and start moving on my own, 6 to 9 months, somewhere around there, I was banging on stuff, and my mom would put out pots and pans while she's cooking, and I would play on them. And then one day I got all my own pots and pans, oatmeal boxes, cereal boxes, and my brother was in the marching band, and he brought home one timpani mallet and one drumstick because that's what he could get. And I played with those, and there's pictures of me with my Donald Duck earmuffs on, in my Scooby-Doo underwear, just playing my butt off in the kitchen.
Well, I started like that too. I was, my mom told me they went to a show, and I was moving a lot in the stomach, and she's like, something's going on here. So I think a lot of drummer have heard drums when they were in the
in the womb. Yeah. Well, the funny thing is that, you know, I come from a really cool kind of family generation gap where I'm the youngest of 5, and my eldest brother is 21 years older than me. And then the next is 20 years older than me, and then 16 years older, and then 9 years older. So that whole age of music was thrown at me like right away. And then my dad really loved opera, classical music, and big band. And he would walk around singing. So I had big band, jazz, opera, you know, rock and roll to the 80s all thrown at me at the same time. And my brother Chris saw that I really loved drumming, and he found out a guy was selling his drum kit because he was getting a new one, and he bought this off-brand like CB drum kit and surprised me and set it up in the basement when I was about 4 or 4.5, and I lost it.
Cool gift.
Yeah, and he played keyboards, and so I started learning Journey, Kansas, and Boston tunes right away. So my first song that I ever learned was Jump by Van Halen when I was 5.
Nice.
And then it just kind of went from there. Like my parents supported lessons. I took marimba lessons, timpani lessons, orchestral snare. I started studying like big band music when I was about 6 or 7. I still have my books.
Yeah,
but my first studies.
You just mentioned that, but what is your education in drum? Like, did you study that in private, or you did like middle school, high school, college, whatever? Like after, like, did you do something like that, or?
I did the whole like public education system, you know, elementary, middle school, and high school, and I did the jazz band. I did the concert band, and our marching band wasn't competitive, like DCI competitive, like some schools or like Texas schools, you know. But I had a lot of great teachers. So a big part of my education was I studied with Dr. Joy Smith when I was like 6 or 7 years old. Tim Johnson, a great jazz drummer. Tim Franchek, a notorious jazz drummer. And then my biggest influence was Dorico Watson, the drummer of Victor Wooten Band. Amazing player. And I got to study with him, I think, starting when I was like 14.
Whoa.
And like he just changed my life, because at that time I was into, you know, the grunge scene, 90s music, lots of bashing and all that great stuff, you know. And I had the whole 80s repertoire and a bit of big band, but he started showing me fusion and funk and gospel, R&B. I got into Mint Condition. You know, I was definitely the only kid probably in West Michigan at 14 that was listening to Mint Condition, you know. And that's when I got turned on to Chris Daddy Dave, you know.
Yeah.
And so Dorico and his buddy Marcus Hunter helped me a lot with like marching percussion, and then approaching marching percussion from like a groove aspect.
Okay.
and then they would call me, and I would drive them to drum clinics, or I'd drive them to gigs, and I'd help them set up or tear down. They'd let me watch their sets, and eventually, when they were getting calls for gigs they didn't want to do, they'd throw them my way. So then I started working, and same thing with students. And then by the time I was 16 and could drive, I was gigging and teaching full time.
This is pretty good. Because it makes you be organized. Like preparing shows, you have to learn so many music at a young age. So when you arrive like at the age like of 21, 22, you already done a lot. So I'm sure your back was protected. You had a lot of vocabulary and tools to work with different bands.
Yeah, I mean, by the time I was about 19, 20, I had moved to, I was 19 when I moved to Portland, Oregon. And I wanted to go there because I kind of heard it was like where a lot of the jazz legends would retire. Okay. And a lot of the big like grunge musicians like Everclear and stuff like that, like moved to the Portland area away from Seattle or LA. And it also was a beautiful place. I mean, I love to fish and forage and hike and camp, and you can't beat it. It's an amazing place. So when I went there, I met the makers of Allegra Drums, a custom drum shop.
Yeah, it's true.
Amazing drums. I mean, some of the best out there that, I had played, and they offered me an endorsement, and I got to do R&D with them, and I with them developed a travel kit that was inspired by like the Yamaha hip gig.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah, so I had the Russian doll effect thing, but it was an 18-inch kick, wood hoops, more contemporary size. I think it was 16 long, and then a 14 floor sat in there that popped off, and the 10 went in, and it was all wood hoops, and it all fit in one bag. And then you just brought your snare, and
it's cool. This I like this. This is nice for gigging, small gig, quick. It's nice.
Yeah, and like if the club was really small, or it was like a winery or something, I could just open the bass drum, and it would make the bass drum quieter.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And it was like, so it became this thing. And so like, yeah, by the time I was like 20, 21, I was already overusing a 9-piece drum kit. I was like, I got to the point by the time I was 22 where I just wanted to use kick, snare, hats, and a ride cymbal.
But this is what you do a lot on your web. I saw a lot of videos. You're doing like demonstration of like a hi-hat, like a cowbell, a shaker, like a duck, for example. I don't know, like funny stuff, and a kick and a snare, and that's it. This is the basic of whatever kick, snare, hi-hat. You can do whatever you want with it.
Yeah, and a lot of that goes back to me like with my studies and being with Derico Wasson, especially because and Marcus Hunter at that time, because I always asked him like, how do you do stuff like Dennis Chambers? Like, how do you make things groove so hard but never play 2 and 4?
It's true.
And we got all these ideas, and since I was doing a lot of drumline stuff at that time, I thought, well, hey, I'll take all these warm-ups I know and play them around the drum kit, and always throw down the backbeat of 2 and 4. And I started getting all these grooves and rudimental ideas, but always grooving. And it just opened up a lot of doors, So yeah.
It's cool. Anyway, there's places for a lot of stuff. There's places for chop, there's places for play a backbeat, there's places for like be creative. You all need to do that at the right place at the right moment, I guess. Like, I mean, depend of what kind of gig or contract you will get. So the time fly crazy. So I wanted to ask you a few questions just for we continue. Well, I saw you did a lot of clinics all around the world, actually, like in Asia and different countries. What are the targeting points for you when you go there, and what is the difficulties? Sometimes, for example, in Asia, the language barrier is different. How you approach them? Are you going to go on stage and just play, or you have like a translator person like making connection with you in the audience? So how you manage that in general?
It's always different. I mean, I'm definitely inspired by Dom Famularo and, like education through entertainment, or, edutainment, or whatever you want to call it. But like my first trip to China was a little rough because this was at the time that Android phones really didn't work over there, and I had an Android phone. And when I got to China, not only did my Android phone not work, but it died, and my flights were delayed 12 hours. So I had no access to my emails or Wi-Fi. And There was someone that was going to pick me up at the airport. They had my itinerary and the hotel and all that, and it was gone.
Gone.
And I landed in Shanghai like, holy crap, what am I going to do? And the way I lucked out, I bumped into this gentleman, David Kelly, who was a distributor for like Dream Cymbals and starting to work with Drumcraft a little bit, because that was a company I was with way back when.
It's true. The drum company, right?
Drumcraft, yep, through Gaywa. And I had a Drumcraft hoodie, and I was walking around the airport like stressed out, and this guy just hollers, and he's like, "What are you doing with Drumcraft?" And I'm like, "I'm here. I'm an artist, and I'm supposed to be at these shows. I have no contact with everyone. My phone's broke. My credit card was denied, and then found out it was credit card fraud for $10,000." And like all this stuff erupted in like the first few hours, so I was freaking out. But then after I got in and settled and everything was cool and I could get online and, everything was smooth. A lot of those performances, I would just get up and talk and perform and use a lot more emotion and hand gestures and stuff like that, and just lay it down and go hard. But in other areas, I'll have translators. Like when I was in the Czech Republic, I had a translator, which helped a lot, So it's kind of hit or miss because you never know,
Yeah, sometimes it's hard to explain. I did it because I was doing a tour clinic in Mexico, and I can speak Spanish, but like not perfect at all. But I can have like a good base. But sometimes when you go with deep like details, you want to say, okay, your foot need to be like that, and you need. I don't know. It's hard to the example, but I mean to go directly on something, the translator doesn't know how to explain it. I'm like, okay, so I'm demonstrating, with my foot and my motion, but I'm sure it's the same for you. So, but then I never been to Czech Republic.
Amazing.
I think it's good. I heard a lot of good things. I think the scene is great too. I think they have.
Oh yeah. I had a blast there. I had a blast. I'm actually, well, if things go well, I'll be back there in October for the Bubiniki Drum Festival. I did it a few years ago with George Kalias.
Whoa, okay.
It was amazing. And I had a translator there. And actually, we were joking. And somehow with the translation, things got messed up. And it said that I was offering to buy a woman. But it didn't really say that at all. Everyone caught it, and it was really funny. And, the humor was there. So they spared me.
Saved by the bell.
Yeah, saved by the bell. But yeah, the Czech Republic is definitely great. I love the food. I love the people. I went out and saw a lot of live music, and everyone was amazing. So yeah,
that's cool. We have around like 5 minutes. Okay.
Okay.
We talk about a little bit about you, of what's going on right now and what's gonna go next. So first of all, I know you're teaching online. No, you cannot teach in person, but you're teaching online. If people wants to reach you, what are the ways? Like a Facebook, Instagram, your platform teaching. What are you doing for that?
Yeah, I mean, the most active platform that I'm on is Instagram, Scott Pellegrom. And you can message me there. You can go to my website, scottpellegrom.com, and shoot a message. I use Calendly, so if you want to book a lesson, you hit the link and you can book your own time. You can lock it in. We're both connected, and the lesson's booked.
So cool. What do you use? Sorry, what do you use for like a platform? Zoom, like Skype?
I tend to use Skype and FaceTime. FaceTime has been my best so far with a lot of people, and occasionally WhatsApp.
Okay.
But FaceTime has been really, really solid. So yeah, I teach privately right now, and I was going to be on. I had a lot of tours that were booked and stuff, and they're all postponed for now. But once we get the okay and I can start using Recording Studio again, I'm going to be putting out a lot of my own original music, because it's been a really long time since I've recorded stuff. So I have like a solo drum and percussion record coming out. I've got a new full band featuring a lot of special artists coming out, and a few EPs. So I'm going to be in record mode for this year, and hopefully trying to wrap up my pre-recorded online lessons and master classes by fall.
Oh, cool. That's cool. Well, I think you're on it, because the recording will be very successful right now. The tour won't restart. Let's be realistic, like October, September,
Yeah.
and some of them not before 2021. So I think recording online and even teaching in person will be back. Maybe I will see like after the summer. But for now, I mean, I think it's the thing to do. Like, and it's good. And where the people can see all those development coming, like still on the same platform on your Instagram, you will post like, okay, this is my new project and this and that.
Yep. Instagram. I'm almost like the anti-social media person because I'd rather be, digging in the dirt or out in the woods looking for mushrooms or going fishing, right? But I use Instagram and put it out through Twitter and Facebook and stuff. And my stories, I update a lot. So that's all the new info that's going on. But my website is fairly up to date, and I'll be posting a lot. Like I'll be doing a lot of marketing and stuff because I feel I owe everyone a lot of new music because I haven't had time to do it. Always working for other people. So I'm going to take the time this year to do that.
It's good. You have to do that at some point, sometime to take time and focus for your things, your own thing.
Yeah, I haven't had time to do that. My only sense of like feeling like an artist is the drum clinic world and the drum industry, That's where I do my thing and I have fun. Everywhere else, I'm a gun for hire. I work for people. I do my job. I play what's needed. Nothing more, nothing less.
It's pretty good. Well, I need to let you go now. Sorry about that. The time flies so fast.
It's so fast.
But thank you so much for accepting the invitation. I wish you all the best. Stay safe. Try to rest the most as you can, because I'm sure when all that will be done, you will work crazy. Like
we're all gonna go crazy. I'm excited to see what everyone comes up with because everyone's practicing, everybody's writing. I think this could be a very exciting point in time in history for music.
I hope so. Because we're in a situation special. So, well, thank you so much, and we'll keep in touch. Let's talk next week if you're free for just talking.
Yeah, let's do that. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Great to see you again.
Take care, buddy.
All right.
Bye-bye. Well, thank you, Scott. Always a great chat with him. So many stories. And actually, I have to cut like maybe 3-4 questions. But he's a cool guy. You can go on his website, Facebook, Instagram, and he always have like cool video to show on YouTube. It's super nice. Just a little reminder for the people that just show up. Next week, in 2 weeks, May 6th, artists I have for the World Edition. I have Chris Lesso, Jorge Chavez, Murray Creed, and Rick Latham. The May 20th, I have Maxime Diomin, Richard Irwin, Alex Lays, and Daru Jones. So be there. This is May 6th and May 20th. I will have only 2 other after that in June international shows, and will be off for the summer, and I will back in September with those edition. Tomorrow there's a show. If you speak French, you're more than welcome, or you can come for just like watch it out. It's tomorrow night, but at 8 p.m. Eastern time. So I have Sacha Daoud, Alan Réaume, and Francis Fillon. Crazy great drummer and great people. So if you want, you can be there. You're more than welcome. My next artist, I discovered him when he won the 2003 Undiscovered Drummer Contest winner over 18 years old category. He worked with a lot of people: Maynard Ferguson, Jeff Dio, Natalie Grant, Anthony Evans, Kristen DiClario, Marco Barrientos, Raul Sanchez, many more. At 33 years old, he back to school in medicine, so he graduated. He started his own teaching platform called 99centsdrumlesson.com. He's a drum clinician doing a lot of drum clinic. He's a Paiste, O'Leary Drum, Pro Marks Evans, and he just came out like with an interview with the Drumhead magazine, like a few, like I think it was today came out. So I will welcome my friend Lou Santiago Jr. How are you doing?
Doing good. How's everything, Eric?
I'm doing pretty good. So you're chill in your studio in New York?
Yeah, I'm in my former bedroom that now is my recording studio, teaching studio, and all that good stuff. Practice room. We convert everything into whatever we can.
Yeah, but that's perfect. You look like you have a very great setup. Anyway,
yeah, it's a unique setup. So right now I'm using the cam on my computer, but so it's a pretty big room. It's 18 by 11, so there's some good depth. I have 3 GVM LED lights on the ceiling. I have the sound clouds, and then I have the absorptions here, the panels, but I built the trimmings out myself, like for it all to, I guess, match and all look, aesthetic, for the eye of the student or the viewer on Instagram or Facebook, wherever they are, just so it can look good and sound good. So on this end over here is where I have the, the control room. I have a 40-inch flat screen to see my punch in, punch out if I'm doing some type of recording or something like that. Make it easier to record, start, stop, and whatnot. And also, if I'm doing a live stream with students, I can see them better and see their questions better on the
for sure.
the flat screen. And since everything is wireless, I just bring this over, put it right next to me, right there, and I have my in-ears. I'm just using the headphones for for this, but everything is simple. I don't have anything sticking out, just the table, because I endorse Presonus studio equipment, so they outfitted me with great gear. I have the 6.5-inch monitors. I have the 32-inch channel, the 32 channel rack mixer. So I literally just put it up like a rack, but it's a total mixer, but 32 channels with all plugins and preamps and interface, the whole thing with Studio One. It's ridiculous. I'm still learning it. There's so much in there. I can't even fathom. And so it really is a unique one-stop, shop. I get to do a lot here. I'm amazed at how much I get to do here.
You're lucky, man, for having that, because there's a lot of people right now. They have a very cool studio, for example, but outside, and they need to go to those practice room, but they cannot. They're like locked down, and they can't.
Especially in New York City. I'm in the basement, so this is the basement. So my mother-in-law, they purchased this house 25 years ago.
Okay.
And when I came to finish my studies with medicine, I moved first. So my wife and I were both born and raised here, in New York City. And after we got married 15 years ago, we moved to Dallas, Texas.
Okay.
Because I got an opportunity to play drums for a church over there.
Okay.
And then shortly after that, I got called by Jeff Dio if I would be able to be his drummer, and that required me to move to Nashville, Tennessee. And that's where my wife and I lived for another almost 5 years, and we thought we were going to live there forever. We purchased homes over there, and we still own, the property over there. Actually, the people who've been renting our houses live in those houses longer than we have ever lived. So, yeah. No, it's been a blessing for sure. At first, it was a headache. My wife will tell you all that, but luckily we weathered through, and now, thankfully, everything's looking good with that, and then shortly after that, after about 4.5 years, we moved to Florida. In hopes to help out, another church. And that's where I ended up finding out I'm going to be studying medicine. And that's how that whole thing happened. So when an opportunity came for me to finish my studies here in New York City, my mother-in-law, she still owned the house. I moved up here. My wife and my kids stayed in Florida for about 7 months. We were apart. And then they moved up, and then at the time, I was staying in this room because she was renting the upstairs apartment, the second floor apartment, because her apartment's here upstairs. So I just this was my bedroom. This is where I studied. This is where I went to school, came back, slept here, the whole deal, And when the upstairs tenant that she had for a very long time, I think it was like 7 years or something like that, said that she was leaving. We got offered the apartment, and we got it. So we got to renovate it, make it look nice. And then I asked her if I can renovate this room into my drum studio.
Get that one for me.
And then, so she hooked it up. That was really awesome, So I'm really blessed for sure.
That's pretty nice. You mentioned something very interesting, because the people maybe doesn't know, but you back to school in medicine. And I think this is very interesting, because you are giving the right example as to be a professional drummer, doing clinics, teaching, having students, playing with great artists, like huge artists, but you still have another career too, and you can manage both. Why you choose medicine first, and how did you make it happen with kids, wife, how, and all your career you had already started?
Oh man, that's okay. So I would say that it chose me. I didn't chose it, and the reason why I say that is, as you mentioned, as I mentioned before, um, church, and all that. So I don't use church and just say church as in just like, oh, religion. I have a relationship with Jesus and identify myself as a Christian, and in that, we have the Bible, and I read the Bible, and in there it's all about faith, and ever since I became a Christian, I did really, really, I guess, well in making sure that I lived by faith, because I was in the Navy for 6 years, and there's a lot of things that I asked God for forgiveness for, so in all that, and playing predominantly the majority of my career in Christian music per se, I just was like, there's got to be more to my life than just playing drums, because at this time, I started playing drums seriously at 18.
Okay.
I quit when I was 20. I joined the Navy. I stayed in the Navy until I was 26. When I was, I stayed in the Navy until I was, until I was 26. And all up into that time frame, my last 2 years in the Navy, I started playing drums again. I stopped for 5 years, and I started playing drums again. So 2 years after I started playing drums again, I won the Undiscovered Modern Drummer contest, and then went on tour with Maynard Ferguson. So I've had only been playing drums for 4 years in total, Okay. And then my career took off. Seeing everything that God had led me to do, I was just telling him, there's got to be more to my life than just playing drums, because I've already been doing this. I've been doing this professionally. I'm not feeling and thinking as if like, oh, I haven't made my mark yet because I haven't played drum with such and such. I haven't played drums here, or I still long to play drums in that stadium or that. I was just grateful that I was playing drums for a living, and it was a very successful career, and at the height of my career, one would say, like, literally, I never not had work. I can honestly tell you, I've never not had work, and I was blessed, to always be working as a drummer. And one would consider, I guess, high profile, gigs. That at that moment, even in my height of my career, I said, God, what else is there to my life? Like, there's got to be more. And sure and behold, I felt him say medicine, and I was like, this got to be a joke, right? Because I dropped out of high school. I never took a science class in my life. And if you read the Bible and you see all these amazing stories, which are real life experiences at that time, I was like, I'm no different. You're no different. If God is showing all of us that we're capable of doing these great things, then I want to be a part of that, And since I've been doing this just as much as you have professionally for such a long time, it doesn't mean that you stop being a professional. It's in you. Music is in us. I'm not on my drum set right now, and I can, make
Groove anyway.
You know what I mean? It's in us. We can just take anything, and my wife, I annoyed the crap out of her, especially whenever I was trying to think of something. Like, she asked me a question. I'm thinking, she's like, can you do that without tapping? Can you just do it without tapping?
So true.
So I stepped out in faith, and next thing you know, I graduated, summa cum laude, valedictorian with my biomedical science bachelor's degree. I got accepted into 3 medical schools and to be a DO, and I chose to graduate as a PA.
Okay.
because it allows me to still have my professional career. And now I'm practicing emergency medicine and playing drums full time. Again, coming back to drums full time and teaching. But the question of juggling everything, my wife and I just had another conversation yesterday. We've been having a lot of conversations because she's in school. And while I was in school, she was holding down the fort. She was working a full-time job. And as an executive assistant to a VP university. And I was studying full-time, and we had the kids. And we still juggled, here and there. Sometimes, or a good bit of the time, she had to she did a lot. She had the kids and the job, because the amount of studying and the work that I had to study medicine was a job of in its own. I would study close to about 60, I would have to say maybe 60 to 80 hours a week. I would be studying. It was crazy. It was like a full-time schedule. I'll be up at 3 and then I go to sleep at 10, and then the cycle will continue, So on average, I slept between 4 to 6 hours,
Not much.
Which I was grateful for the military, because the military already gave me that experience on how you can function on 4 to 6 hours. But a lot of communication, a lot of talking, which we're back at right now, because she's now studying and she's working on becoming a clinical nutritionist. And we're talking a lot, because since my graduation and now practicing emergency medicine and her going to school, and now our kids are 6 and 8 and they're in school, but now because of the pandemic, the rest of the year is all homeschool. And she's in school and she's also home studying, and and I work in the ER, and I have the drums, that I want to keep, pumping out lessons. I want to start working on some ideas for my podcast, for the website, the 99-cent drum lessons.
We'll talk about that,
and my podcast, Musician Med. So we've been talking, and it was, I'm not going to lie, it's been frustrating, because I'm a bit stubborn in the sense that once I have something in my head, and there's a lot of my military stuff that hasn't left me yet, that I'm trying to restructure and figure out how I can align, and my wife can and I work together, because she was never with me when I was in the military. She didn't know me. So I'm very mission oriented. Once I'm in and I'm locked on, that's it. I'm executing, I'm hitting my targets, and I'm coming back with name tags. And so what happened is that it's brought us back to the drawing table where we're communicating, and it's been good. It's been really good in the sense of, okay, I know that we're still connected, you know what I mean? And we're not lost, because, many marriages, by the 15-year mark, maybe by the 2, 3, 4 year mark, it's like they're already saying, oh, I don't know each other. We don't know each other anymore. We're not there. We know each other. I think we just have the expectations of each other because we know each other, and it's not communicating those expectations. So if anything, if you're out there, guys, and you're married and you're trying to make a marriage work, or even a relationship, trust me, you have to talk. You have to talk, and, I can't negate everything that she's done for me. I can't. She's done a lot. And it's my turn to look out for her and give back for her.
Yeah, for sure.
The only thing is, how can I do that with still moving forward? And lately I've been a jerk about it. So I need to not be a jerk.
Yeah, but it's not a one-way deal. It's like it goes both ways. So
right.
It's the same in the music or whatever the other department that we're in the life. So, well, just to continue, because we're around 10 minutes, 10, 15 minutes max. So you said something too. You did Modern Drummer Festival in 2003. You won that contest. I told you, I remember I've seen you the first time there, and I'm like, holy shit, he's doing the double clave with his foot. And I told you I've been to school with my 2 pedals, and I remember, and I practiced it, and now I can do it. But it was very, very interesting how that experience changed your life, or maybe not, but I mean, how that have been a good experience for you.
Yeah. The Modern Drummer Festival definitely changed my life. And it had nothing to do with with the fact of like now the world knows me.
The fame or
it actually changed my life and letting me know this is what's behind the curtain now. You know, this is behind the scenes. Now you get to see what's back there.
Yeah.
And what the experience was is that when I got called and you know, performing at the festival, they put me up in a hotel. You know, I got to go to the dinners and the hangouts, you know, with all these drummers, you know, Steve Smith, Nathaniel Townsley, Mike Portnoy, Matt Wilson, you know, everybody, you know, and then all the drummers that perform there have carte blanche. Like you're just, they can go for free for a lifetime, you know, like you're in a lifetime membership. If you performed at the Modern Drummer Festival, you're part of a family in a lifetime membership. So I'm just shaking hands and talking with, I mean, a whole bunch of superstars, you know, and legends, you know. And the reason why I say it changed my life is because I got to learn from their stories.
For sure.
I was listening and writing down. But the most valuable lesson is that the festival is over. I mean, I got a standing ovation. I played in front of, you know, hundreds and hundreds of people there. And I got the approval of famous, you know, drummers that I look up to, and they were telling me how amazing I was and how I inspired them. And I'm just like, yeah, right, you know, and all this stuff. But once it was all said and done, everybody's checking out. I'm seeing everybody in the lobby. Everybody's leaving. A car's picking them up. Everybody has things situated. And I'm still in the lobby, and I'm like,
it's over.
how am I gonna get home?
There's no Uber in 2003. So okay, what do I do now?
it was like, yo, the lights are off. Everything's over. It was a great weekend. How do I now move on to the next thing that's gonna bring me a paycheck? You know what I mean? And that's where reality hit. You know, those cameras aren't always on you. Those lights aren't always over you. But you yourself and your mindset, that stays with you the whole time. So either you're gonna learn from this and move forward and make the best of it, or you're just going to live in the past and be bitter. And I chose to learn from this and keep moving forward. So my wife now, she was my friend, you know, we were just friends back then. And I said, hey, you mind picking me up in Jersey? Because I didn't have a car, I didn't have anything. So she picked me up.
But this is a good point you just said. It's good for the young kids listening, because a lot of people, actually, I didn't, I was a little bit thinking of that back in the days, like back in 2000 or 99, when people finish their, like, say, bachelor degree. They're like, oh, now I have a bachelor degree. I'm a professional drummer. So now they expect the gigs will arrive, people will call you, and it's not. No, it's very good to do it because it's a very good tool. And I always suggest the kids, if you can do it, do it. It's very good, and go, and it's good education. But after, don't think you're a superstar, or or don't put yourself higher than everybody else. It's just a step in the life, and keep going. Like you said, you had a very big event, and after that, you know, okay, how I'm gonna back home after that? What is the next step? You said you can live with your old story, or you can take advantages of them and go forward. This is what you did, and this is the best way to think, I think, because you can just build better connection, a better career, and you became like working in medicine, and is another story in your life, because a life it's a story.
And that's a whole, you know, my experiences in the military and in music helped prepare me to be a better candidate for medical school, which then at the same time makes me at this point a good provider, but I have a strong foundation to become a great provider, you know. And one of those traits is, you know, always self-study, you know, like you're always curious, you're always asking questions, and anybody that knows me, I'm always asking questions, you know, and I'm always thinking ahead.
It's important. The question, I always said too, if you go see a professional, like say drummer, for example, and you want to learn, you can spend 1 hour, you pay that person, and ask the most question as you can ask for that person. And because seeing people playing, you can see that million of videos, or you can go online. But if you want, like, learn something, like, I mean, business wise or whatever, you can. I did that a few times. I paid people. I sat down and I asked them questions, and they were telling me stories about their life and all, and that make me a bigger person. For example, like a better person in my instruments.
Yeah, like the person who, if I can give something about who educator, you know, someone who's willing to listen to you and show you the things that you ask for, versus someone who you ask something and they just show you and they say, oh, but you can do it like this, and then you want to do it like this, or you could do it like this, or do it like that. Next thing you know, you paid for them to just perform for you. That's the difference of somebody looking at you as a student. Someone looking at you as a fan versus a student. Because educators will teach you. Performers will only just demonstrate for you. And to me, I want an educator. I want someone who's going to be able to talk to me, share life stories, and at the same time be able to show me what really matters in order for me to get my career. Because you showing me a chop isn't going to make me or break me from a gig. Actually, showing me a chop can possibly break me from a gig. You know what I mean? Depending how irresponsible I am with that. So, yeah, that's, just life experiences are huge, huge, huge educational benefits.
Keep going with the education. I want we talk about your 99 cents school.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we have 5 minutes. So let's talk about that a little bit and tell us how the people can work that out and where they can subscribe and all.
Yeah. So 99 Cent Drum Lessons, I started at the end of 2007, 2008.
Okay.
And oddly enough, cool. Mike Johnson and I were the only ones who were doing the lessons online at the level we were doing it at. Like you can just purchase and you download it right into your computer. And we started this at a time where there really wasn't really a lot of technology for it. And it was so cool how two people who don't know each other, and we just met for the first time this past NAMM, but we knew about each other, were able to think of the same things and make it work, and that's just really awesome how all these minds just think alike. And so towards the end of 2008, I left because I started to go work my way to study. So 99 Cent Drum Lessons was started for the mere fact so people can attain and have the opportunity to learn drums no matter what lifestyle or what demographic they might find themselves in. And at first it was going to be for free and just a donate button. But then I just felt the Lord say, no, you're going to charge 99 cents. And I said, okay. So that's it. It stayed like that. And then I put it away for 11 years until this past March, I launched. I brought it back. Only started with beginner lessons, but that beginner is not for beginner in the sense of somebody coming to the drums for the first time. I think we lose the concept of the word beginner. Even though I am considered a professional drummer, seasoned musician, I am still a beginner. Everybody is a beginner. And it's not, beginning of the craft. No. It's, I want to learn something new.
Oh, yeah,
if I'm learning something new, that means I'm a beginner at it.
Yeah, it's a life process.
So my way of processing things and making things a bit easier through my season, of being a professional musician may make it easier, but I'm still a beginner in my approach to something. This is Afro-Cuban music. I've never played Afro-Cuban music before. Well, guess what? I'm a beginner. This is double bass drumming. I never played double bass drumming, regardless playing the drums for 37 years.
It's hard.
I'm a beginner. You understand what I mean? So you're always always a beginner. So I started, I put together, so far there are 46 lessons up on the website now.
How long is the one lesson, for example?
It ranges from 28 minutes. I think the longest lesson I have on there is 32 minutes. Okay. And the shortest is 8 minutes.
Okay.
But they're 99 cents. That's it. So you come in, you log in, you get your own profile page, you see what lessons you want, you purchase them, and they automatically get inserted into your practice room, and you keep the lesson. Like, you keep the lesson.
It's very good, and because this is one good point, because sometimes you will watch a lesson, you will it's a lot of information. Let's say you back to your practice room, you don't remember, you don't have access to it because, for example, you did a live or something. So now you can keep it in your computer and rewatch it like 2 million times. So
Yeah.
it's amazing.
Oh yeah. And the thing that I love about it is, like, it's not a subscription in the sense that once you stop paying, you don't have access to that lesson anymore.
Yeah.
Here, you pay what you want. When was the last time you paid for something and purposely left it on the counter? Never. You want to keep what you paid for, right?
Exactly.
Well, that's my concept.
So it's a good concept. So where the people, because we have like 2 minutes, so where the people can reach you on, well, what is the major places they can reach you? Like Instagram, Facebook, your website?
Instagram and Facebook. Facebook, it's Lou Santiago Jr. official. And then on Instagram right here. Oh, look, I can right there. Woo! IG, Instagram at Lou the Drummer. And then, YouTube, just Google my name and all the social stuff will pop up.
It's pretty good. And I know now the situation is kind of weird. We have the lockdown and all, but what are your future projects in the music? Let's say in September.
So in September, so right there, I hope to be introducing already the intermediate and advanced lessons. Another phase of 99-cent drum lessons will be revealed. I'm hoping. I would already start on the podcast episodes for Musician Med, which is going to be a place where musicians and artists, whether you're a dancer, an actual artist, anything that puts you in the artist realm, can receive medicinal help, so you have health advice, health tips, and let you know about conditions or diseases. But I'm not your personal, doctor, I'm not your personal physician or provider, but I am willing to step in and help you navigate on how to best talk to your doctor, or when to talk to a doctor.
Sounds so cool. Well, thank you so much. We don't have much time. I would have liked to chat more time with you, but time flies. Thanks for your time. You're always cool to chat with you. I wish you good luck with all your project. But I know you have to work to the hospital like a few days per week.
On Saturday. Yeah, I go back to the emergency room on Saturday. Yeah.
So be safe, and we'll keep in touch, and take care, buddy. Thanks for accepting the invitation.
Yeah. Thank you, Eric. Thank you so much.
Take care.
Look forward to our clinic tour.
Yes, we have to talk about that for sure.
All right, bro. Take care, bro.
Bye. Oh, that was my friend Lou. Always a cool chat, good guy, good drummer. So I suggest you go see his website. It's 99 cents. Drumming lessons are very good. So, and watch on Instagram. He always put like cool videos. So let's go with the last guest. He's born in a musical family. His father was playing drum at night. He studied at Berkeley College with Gary Chaffee, Steve Smith, Vinny Colaiuta. He performed in many different clinics over the world. After that, he played with so many people. Brian Wilson, Spinal Tap, Neil Zaza, Paul McCartney, name it, on record or in live. He's currently the drummer for Styx for a lot of years. He played at the Drumfest, Cape Breton, the Pastic, Montreal Drumfest, the Adam Drumfest, La Rioja Drumfest, name it. He did everything. He did. I've been nominated in Modern Drummer Reader Poll for the Progressive Rock Drummer recorded performance in 2018. He just launched last week his new solo album, Last Flight Home, in April 13, 2020. I want to talk about that. So let's have Todd Sucherman. How are you, my friend?
I'm good, Eric. How you doing?
I'm pretty good. Thanks for accepting the invitation. I'm super happy to have you here tonight.
Thanks for having me.
Actually, it's very cool because when I asked you, I didn't know you were launching your solo album. I really want we talk about that, and you can promote it and tell us what it is and where we can get it.
Okay, well, I mean, the release date is May 2nd. It'll be available on all the normal outlets, but you can only get the 180 gram hand-signed, numbered LPs from my website and signed CDs from my website, which I'm sending out now. Not the LPs because those are coming in, but the first batch of CDs went out already to the pre-order people. Now, the funny thing about this CD is that it came into fruition completely organically and against my will.
Okay.
My old buddy J.K. Harrison has been cajoling me for years. He's like, we should do a record. Like, and you should sing.
Cool.
And I'd say, thank you, but no. And a bunch of things all happened, and he just hit me at the right time. And I said, okay, let's see if we can do something. So it was really a grand experiment to see if I could pull off something I wasn't sure that I could pull off, and then be able to be proud of it, stand behind it, and actually release it. So it's a song record. I mean, if you like, like sophisticated pop, like Elbow, XTC, Jellyfish, if you like bands like that, you might like this. But I'm sure that most people would expect some sort of drum-centric
like a
from me. But the reality is, I just played on Antoine Fafard's Bohemian Odyssey, which is a brilliant Genius record, and Zan Nico's record. So that itch has been scratched for now of playing, supremely difficult instrumental music, and that's how this record came into being, really.
Well, that's pretty cool to hear that, because like you said, I was expecting will be a solo album, like super like technique, but you just said like it's a song album. So it's very fun to hear that. So people they can put in their car, sing the song, and have it in their head forever.
I mean, I play drums on every track. There's drums, but it's song supportive drumming, which is really my favorite kind anyway. And the reason I love music is not because of the drums. I love melody. I love the emotion of things. I love lyrics and good crafted lyrics and storytelling. So that's really the thing that, I will listen to songs that move me more than just pyrotechnical Olympic drumming. I enjoy that stuff too, but I don't want to have lobster tail every day. No. It's a big world. There's a whole, many different kinds of music to make me feel different things, whether I'm making the music or enjoying the music, partaking as a listener.
And you said something good. You said like you like harmonic. Do you play another instrument like than drums, like piano, guitar, bass, whatever? Or
I mean, no, I can't tinker with the piano and guitar, but to say that I play it is a gross overstatement. Like I couldn't sit in with you on a different thing, but I could sit around and mess around on the piano and come up with something and go, oh, okay, I kind of like that.
Yeah, because a lot of drummers, like when I did my bachelor degrees 20 years back, I had to pick another instrument. So it's very good to see the harmonics, and you have to, you know what I mean? Like, but I'm like you, I don't play much. I play violin, but I need to back on that, and it's never asked me to play violin on your band, so I'm not good at that.
That's really if I had to pick one regret in my life, that I was already a drummer by the time I was 6 years old. I've been playing since I was 2, and my parents made me take piano lessons. And after I want to say 3, maybe, I threw a tantrum, and I said, I don't want to do this. I want to spend my time on the drums. I'm a drummer. My older brother Paul was already a great piano player, so I didn't want to follow him. But if they'd explained that there's money to be made in publishing and songwriting, maybe would have stuck with that.
We have always regret, but we never live with that, because if it doesn't worth it. You had a great career, and you make it very well. Actually, I had a question for that. I didn't know your dad was a doctor, and at night he was playing drum. So he was your first teacher in some ways. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, no, my father was 50 when I was born. So he was playing gigs in the 30s, 40s, 50s. And by the time I was born in 69, kind of by around 74, 75, he'd started to slow down significantly because he had 3 kids. He was very, very active 30s through the 60s.
Wow. And this, I'm guessing the scene was amazing at that time too. He might have a lot of great experience. What kind of band he had actually? I didn't see what kind of band. It was like a big band or rock band or.
He was a big band drummer and a show band drummer, and he was one of the house drummers at the Chez Paris in Chicago, which was like the club of Chicago.
Yeah.
He played, Sammy Davis Jr., Liberace, Joey Lewis, Sophie Tucker, comedians and, Senor Owences, it's all right, jugglers, dancers. I mean, that was the era of, the scene in Goodfellas when they go through the kitchen and they go to the show band. Like that's what my dad was doing at night. And then he'd get 2 or 3 hours of sleep and then he'd be a doctor in the day.
Wow. And Chicago scene is amazing too. Even now, I've been a few years ago on tour there, and I love it. I didn't live there for long, like 2 months, but I really dig it.
My favorite city in the world.
Like the food, the buildings. We can talk about that. Just the when you take the river, and it's a great city.
Did you take the architectural tour in the river?
I did the day and the night. I wanted to do both. So because my dad is an architect, so I've been with him. So we saw all the buildings, and it's crazy.
Oh yeah,
crazy. Well, let's continue because I have a few questions, and we don't have much time. So I want to ask you a few questions. You've been to Berkeley. You studied with great teacher like Gary Chaffee or Steve Smith. I know we have kids listening. Is it something? It's very important for you to say, okay, let kids invest in studying, or in drums, or just do by your heart, and play? What kind of vision you have of learning process of an instrument, for example?
It's very important to learn, and the education that I've been fortunate to have through all my schooling up to my 1 year at Berkeley with teachers like Gary Chaffee, who I studied with privately, the Ian Froman, Skip Hayden in particular, was huge for me. So that's why I don't take myself seriously, but I take education seriously. So like the Drumeo Rock Drumming Masterclass that I did 2 semesters where I was the coach, which is now available. They just released it as a standalone purchase package. You can study with me for basically 26 weeks, 15 hours, but now you can get the whole thing and binge watch it Netflix style, as opposed to waiting every week for a new lesson that are all basically between 20 and 30 minutes. So I put my heart and soul into that because when someone trusts you to teach them useful things, to teach them the right way and build ideas upon ideas, that trust is a sacred thing. So I take that very, very seriously. And I spent months writing that the Rock Drumming Masterclass curriculum, which goes way beyond rock drumming. Way
But it's very interesting, and I just didn't know that information. So I'm curious. I'm gonna go check it out for sure.
Yeah, no, it used to be $300, and now they knocked it down to $97 because all the drummers are at home. So, I mean, basically, it's methods and mechanics 3 through 10, but sort of starting at 1.
But it's super cool, and you got the right time for that. Like everybody else are locked down, so it's a
it's the biggest love letter I could leave to my fellow drummers once I'm off this planet.
Wow.
Yeah, it's everything I've got.
Oh, that's pretty good. I remember you did a lot of drum clinics, because I have a question about that. I saw you once actually. I saw you at Montreal Drum Fest like a long time ago. But you do a lot of drum clinics.
2006.
Yeah, I think it's 2006. I saw you there.
Roy Haynes, Gavin Harrison, Bill Bruford, Mark Kelso. Yeah.
Yep. Well, we're 14 years ago. And do you prepare a lot your clinics? Because I do clinics too, but I mean, for you on your side, how is your way to do? You have songs you will play in your show, or you take you will back home, do 3-4 hours practicing for 2 weeks? How is your approach when you do drum clinics?
It depends on the music that I'm playing. It depends on, when I do a proper clinic that's just me, it's 2 hours. A drum festival, I might only get 45 minutes, and then it's more of a performance than a proper clinic, which has educational connotations. But I will prepare the pieces that I'm going to play. Maybe I just play it on, like the Antoine Fafard record. And I want to add 2 songs from there. I want to make sure that I don't suck, that I remember the arrangement and know what to play. So that's kind of how I'll go about it. When I do my live master classes, which is a different animal altogether, that's basically just 20 drummers and myself, practice pad, 2 drum sets, and it's more actual physical, technical notions, physical and mental things to get over to relax, because most drummers are too tense. Most drummers are grabbing their stick really, really tightly and not leaving space between the thumb and the first finger. If you do that, all these muscles are loose. If you grab the stick like that, all these muscles are tight. Bingo. There you go. You can't throw a 90-mile-an-hour fastball like that. It has to be like this. So I think 90% of the drummers all over the world are doing something physical that is keeping them from being able to improve and get to where they want to go. They look and they see a guy playing ding 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 for 10 minutes, and they go, how the hell are they doing that? Well, I can show you how to do that. You have to implement that technique. But if you're putting the stick, we got a stick here somewhere. Boy, I'm in the studio and I need a stick.
Do you have a snare? Not sure about that.
I got a couple. Yeah. But most drummers are having the stick go far back into this first knuckle.
Yeah, for sure.
And you can't play like that. But if you have the stick near the front of the hand, then you can have the hand open up and do that thing, and watch any guy play ding 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 ding. That's how you do it. So that's one of many technical things in the live master classes, as well as relaxing mentally, because then if you're relaxed mentally and physically, then you stand a chance of really latching on to the magic that is music. And then you're playing with other musicians that have that same sensation of freedom. That's when the real magic happens. That's the drug. When you have a night when you're playing with people and you're like, oh my God, how do you even explain this to the layperson? That's how you get there.
And you just said that it's good because everybody has their position, everybody has their setup, and you like just for playing a right cymbal like so fast. So for example, you need some kind of good setup. Are you the kind, because I know you have a big setup in clinics and stuff, but are you the kind of person you have, like, let's say like on your riders, like one very big set when you do your big show and for big events, but after that you will drop a little bit like setup, but you will always have the same kind of, let's say like a 2-tom 2-floor instead of 3 with your ride at the same place, or you manage just around the setup?
If I'm doing a clinic, I kind of want 3 racks, 2 floor toms, and a cymbal setup. For the master classes, I could do it on any 4 or 5 piece kit with a crash and a ride, because they're all concepts that deal with ergonomics, technique, relaxation, pulling a sound out. And I don't need a big monstrosity kit to demonstrate that. I could talk for a long time about how to pull the biggest sound and the fullest sound out of a snare drum, and it's not swinging from here. I can get better sound just from the wrist here than I can doing full stadium show business.
For sure.
Which is valid when you're playing a big room. I understand the show business accent, or the aspect of it. But in the recording studio, you do not need to beat the hell out of the drums. You're actually doing yourself and the music a disservice, in my opinion. And I've done 1,000, recording sessions. I said that once, and someone said, "Well, what about Dave Grohl? He sounds good." Fine. There's always guys that are going to hit it hard. It's fine. But I'm saying, you're not Dave Grohl, and nor am I.
Everybody has their sound and their way to play at the same time. So it's funny you see that, because Dave Grohl, when they did the Smell Like Teen Spirit, you can hear like a lag of time because the cymbals, they were too high. So he was doing the time to reach the cymbals and back have made that kind of layback feeling. It's a funny. I was reading. He was telling that in Modern Drummer like a few years ago. I didn't know that. So, I just want to ask you something about sticks. You've been with them for a long time, and how you could manage to be in a band for that long is great. I mean, it's amazing. I mean, and you look like you have a good relation, and it's how you deal with the band in general.
It's been they called me 25 years ago, and it's been 24 years that I've been on the road with them.
Whoa!
So yeah, I mean, it's basically a quarter century. When you find something that works, it just works. and it's been a pleasure and a privilege that, you know, they never really told me I have the job. I've just been sort of hanging around all this time. But it's a wonderful band. It's got a great fan base, and it's fun to play the music. It's a very active gig. There's a lot of room to play a lot, but you know, I have to pick and choose the moments, just like anything. But it's definitely not a boom whack all night type of thing. You know, there's a lot of drumming.
But did you were supposed to be on tour right now with them, or because of the lockdown and stuff, or you were lucky and it's restarting later?
Well, if none of this had come to pass, I would have finished all the drum tracks to the new record in Nashville last week.
Okay.
And you know, we always have some dates every month, and you know, obviously as we launch into May here, we had a bunch of dates in March that were blown out. This month was blown out. We were supposed to play with the Atlanta Symphony 2 or 3 nights ago. You know, and they keep moving these dates, but I mean, I really think it's going to be a while till things come back to normal, and until shows can get put on sale, until people feel comfortable to go out into large crowds again. I think it's going to be a while.
Yeah, I know. I think the same too. And but at least you will launch your album anyway. So this May 2nd, you said. So this is pretty interesting. You have that opportunity to launch it.
The funny thing is how this came about is, you know, I finished the record, it's manufactured and was sent to me, and then, you know, COVID-19 hit, and I thought, well, gee, I can't release a record and then, you know, promote a record when there's going to be horrific suffering and stuff that, you know, is going to be crazy. And then I had a bunch of people say to me, you know, even in the Great Depression, people needed entertainment. They needed music and movies. And maybe now people actually have the time to sit and listen. And my wife sort of changed her tune. And then I posed a question on both my Facebook pages, Instagram, YouTube. I said, hey, full steam ahead or hold off for brighter days, you know? And 99.9% was arousing, like, please release it now, go full steam ahead.
Yeah, actually, I'm very interested. I will look forward. Like, it's going to be available on all the platform or iTunes, like whatever. Like,
if everything happens the way it's supposed to, yes.
Okay, no, I'm just asking for the people. They can get it. We never know. The people where they can reach. Do you have, like, except the Drumeo video? Do you teach online, or do you have like other platform, or just for the people know how they can see your new stuff and all?
You know, I would really recommend people go to Drumeo and check out the Rock Drumming Masterclass, because that is so in depth and builds one by one. And you know, the response I've gotten from the people that have taken the course has just been, they say it's life-changing, and it's changed their relationship to the drums, it's changed their relationship to music, how they look at everything, and that's so gratifying. So I would recommend, you know, going and checking that out. I think, you know, if this goes on a couple more months, I think probably by June or July, I'll probably offer some sort of Zoom, Skype, FaceTime lesson thing.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, I want to get through this record thing right now. I want to learn how to run my studio, which I don't know how to do. I don't know how to run Pro Tools, and so I'm missing some sessions because I can't record anything. I couldn't record a single snare hit if you asked me to right now.
Wow.
So I got to get that together, and then we'll see where we're at. But if people check out the Drumeo thing, and then we do a one-on-one, you're going to be so steeped into what I have to offer that we could really launch it from there if you do.
Okay, and one last thing, you have your website. And you have like some info. Do you have an Instagram? I think you have an Instagram and Facebook. People can check information there too, right?
Correct. Yeah, I have 2 Facebook pages. I have an Instagram page, and my website's toddsucherman.com, and that's the store where you can pre-order the disc, and there's posters and other merch on the store. So,
well, I wish you good luck. Thank you so much for accepting the invitation. I'm very glad about that, and I wish you the best. Be safe. Take care of your family.
Stay safe, stay in, and you know, we have to. We'll get through this if we all do the right things. We'll get through this.
Oh yeah, we'll get through. So be safe, and we will stay in touch. I will keep in touch. I would like to see you playing live. If Styx is around, I will hit you up. I would like to see you with that band. I saw you on video, but not in live with Styx. So I would like to see it live.
Cool. Well, I look forward to that day.
Take care, buddy. Have a nice
Right.
day. Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Bye-bye. Thank you, everybody, for watching the show of today. I will make a few reminders before we go. Please subscribe this YouTube channel or Instagram and Facebook. The artists for May, for the World Edition, the May 6th, I will have Chris Lesso, Jorge Chavez, Murray Creed, and Rick Latham. May 20th, I will have Maxime Diomin, Richard Irwin, Alex Lays, and Daru Jones. Tomorrow, I have a show, April 23 at 8 p.m. Will be Sacha Daoud, Alan Réaume, and Francis Fillon. Please subscribe because it's very important. More viewer, more people, more attract. Please distribute the most as you can. Every week, it's going up and going up. I realize the show, I can see the percentage of who is watching, and I'm very happy because around now, it's around 65% of the full broadcast show I've seen completely from the scratch to the end. So I'm very happy about that. Of course, people will rewind and forward some part, but complete, I'm very happy. So I have around 500 views, but full. So I'm very happy about that. So please subscribe, Facebook, Instagram, and see you tomorrow. Thank you very much. Have a good night. Bye-bye. Stay safe.